Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And good evening, everybody. We're going to start off tonight. I think this is really cool-looking sunset from Cletus Lockwood. This is out there by Dillon, just east of Dillon. Cool-looking clouds there. I think this was from last night. But let me show you something tonight. Look at this big bad boy, huh? This is from Daniel McWilliams. This is out there by Broadus. You see clouds like that. We call these shelf clouds. There's one there, and there's another one there. When you see these, you know it's fixing to get western out there. Yeah, it's going to be bad. Meanwhile, look at this shot tonight. This is from Mike Wolf. This is what I think in Billings. We had just a kind of a cool-looking sunset, kind of pink hues. And look at that. Had a nice little rainbow up there. He caught that. A lot of our viewers sent us some rainbow shots. I had to pick one, and this is the one I went with, guys. I thought it was pretty good, though. Meanwhile, let me show you how things are shaping up in Billings right now. Currently 65 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, winds out of the northwest at about 8 miles per hour. Now, our high temp today actually topped out at 86. Normal high 78, the record 96 back in 2016. Record low was 40 back in 1939. And as far as precipitation, we had those showers. A lot of this stuff was vergit, fell out of the clouds and just evaporated before it got to the ground or into our rain gauge. So far, just a trace is technically all we had today. And so here's where we are for the month, a little bit behind normal. For the year, we're still ahead of normal there at 874. Need to be only at 722 to be caught up to average. And as you'll see, our current temps around the state, we're starting to cool down a little bit into the 50s, some 60s out in the west, across the high line into the 50s and 60s here. Now look at our reported highs for today. Look at all the 70s and 80s all over the place. It was a warm one, so when the moisture started moving in and tangling with that warm air, it just fired up these big thunderstorms, especially across the eastern edge of the state tonight. And for tomorrow, looks like we're going to see the same thing. In the area highlighted in green, that's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms across south central Montana, southeast and northern Wyoming. Also isolated thunder showers around that are expected tomorrow. But tonight, we've had the one big thunder shower move through. Then this one came in a little earlier on this evening, about 9 o'clock, and it just kind of all of a sudden, it got sucked in some very hot, dry air, and he started evaporating the storms, the showers, before they started making their way into the Billings area. Just a couple of sprinkles. That's all we got out of it. In the meantime, we'll pull back and show you the big story. We still had here a lot of moisture streaming in from the Pacific Ocean, going up over this dry air and then coming back down across Montana. So that mixing with the warm air caused these afternoon splash and dash showers across most of the northern Rockies. And we also had a warm front sweep through today. That, with the moisture mixed together, that kicked off those showers. Now behind that, we have a cold front that moved into western Montana. That cooled things off, and they had mostly clear skies most of the day. Now, tomorrow morning, we'll see it start making its way to central Montana. Could produce some spotty showers in the Billings area later on in the day, probably sometime in the afternoon, maybe about 3 o'clock. You'll see some storms fire up through here, and then just wraparound moisture continues to go all the way out towards the western part of the state by the Wednesday. By Thursday, looks like the cool air moves in, but look at that. Here comes your snow coming down towards west central Montana, all the way down towards the southwestern mountains. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Friday afternoon. Meanwhile, tonight, temps cool back down to the 40s and 50s out west. Back in the east, generally 40s and 50s here. A few lingering scattered rain showers tomorrow. Back to the 70s, some low 80s at Hardin, 82 there tomorrow, round up 82. 60s and 70s out in the west, sunny skies at Missoula, but thunder showers everywhere else. For Billings tonight, 70% chance for thunder showers. We've got one more shot of getting some more rain in here tonight. We'll cool down to 55. Then after that, it'll be 79 on Wednesday, good chance for rain. Thursday, good chance for rain. Then Friday, decent chance for rain, 50% chance. Temps cooling back down into the 60s as we head into the weekend, back into the 60s and 70s, and also maybe a good 30 to 40% chance for showers. That's weather. Let's go back to the desk.